Welcome back, Rick. How are you?
Oh, here I am. Yeah, it seems like a whole project ago since we last hung out and talked. So I'm excited. I've always loved this project. I've always loved rail shooters because I think you have so much control over what it is that you're doing in your world. Now, for some people who go through this project, you might be finding the fiddliness of timeline too much. You might be thinking, I don't really care that it goes there and turns around, this happens, that happens. And that's okay. I think throughout this entire course, we're focusing on the three big main buckets of things that you can learn. One is obviously programming in C#. One is the Unity game engine itself. And then one is more of the general game development. And for me, game development, game design, game tuning, gameplay experience all get wrapped in together. So if you do have any aspirations of making games, having other people play those games and enjoy those games, maybe making a game that someday could become a big hit, then you need to continue flexing those muscles of how do I make the game enjoyable and fun and interesting and polished and tight and tuned. However, as you're going through this course, you might be downplaying that a little bit. You might be saying, I don't care if it looks good. I don't care about particles and I don't care if the explosions make sense. That's okay. You're here to learn, you're here to improve, and you're here to get better. That was one thing I wanted to say. The other thing is, now that you've been playing around with timeline, it's a really useful tool within Unity that doesn't have to be used just to make spaceships fly around. Obviously, we've kind of used it in a way that's probably not really the way it's intended. It's intended for cutscenes and for non-interactive moments and for set pieces. So you could have a game where you're cruising around in your world and then you run past a trigger volume and then something happens, the camera turns and things fall over in the side and you get a little bit of story revealed to you. So now that you've been playing around with that tool, my challenge to you is how can you use that in ways that might not have been its original purpose or intention in your games to make your games better and to make them more interesting. That's why we play around with it, so you get your hands dirty with the tool in a fun way.
When someone buys your game one day, whether it's a free game that they download on itch or they buy your game on Steam, no one ever cares about the amount of effort that you put in or how you got there. They just care about the gameplay. And so if I was to go create a game like this tomorrow from scratch that I was actually wanting to take all the way through prototyping to production and make a full-fledged game and release it through Steam, would I use the timeline tool to do something like that? You know, probably not. I think there's some more advanced, clever ways to do it in a debatably or subjectively better game design sort of way from a developer's perspective, but the end product is really all that matters. And so I would recommend that whoever you are, you lean into your strengths. And if that's sort of animation and timeline, then go into that. If it's programming, then lean into that and create games like Rick was saying when it comes to game development or game design, create games that lean into your strengths.
Games and systems as well. And this is something that you'll get better and better at, is knowing, okay, if I do that once or twice, it's pretty easy. Like, that's good. And a lot of what we've been doing in the course up till now has been doing things in a fairly, we're not worried about trying to do it 100 times because we're only doing it once or twice, particularly with our code. But as you progress, you'll see, hang on, I need to do this a lot. Yep. So I need a system for that. I need a better tool for that. I need a better workflow for that. And hopefully you're feeling a little bit of that pain in some aspects of what we're doing, so that as we move forward and we're showing you, oh, here's a more efficient way of doing it, or here's a better way of organizing your code, or here's a better tool that you can use, you're understanding that and saying, okay, I need to pay attention, not just how's the quickest way of doing it, the hackiest way of doing it. That's what we do with our prototypes. Hack it together. That seems pretty good. Then you need to sit down and say, okay, how do I build this so it's a little bit got a longer lasting life to it?
Now that we actually have a pretty fundamental understanding of the Unity game engine itself, in the next project, we're really going to dive into some more complex, more intermediate programming sort of skills to help you design those systems. So I really can't wait to jump into the next project. When you're ready to dive into Royal Run, I'll see you there.